Good morning from my smartphone to yours. I'm Castin Love, all the way from the Serious Joy Garden Studios in Costa Mesa, California. And this is your Monday Namaste Today. Good morning and Namaste. Welcome to Namaste Today. I'm your host and spiritual life coach, Christopher Witecki. My modality is psychic astrology, and my personal mission is to stand in my heart and help other people come into theirs. This webisode is for Monday, February 29th, 2016. And over the weekend, the Great Human Walk has reached step 10 Pisces. Hello, my friends. Such a pleasure to be of soul service. I hope you had a wonderful and spiritual weekend. We are in the Pisces state of awareness, which means we're clearing out our subconscious and we're connecting to spirit. And we're 10 steps into that process today. Today, I manifest rules the day. And so today we're manifesting a fundamental spiritual faith in ourself, our life, or our path. That's what we're doing. But before we bring you today's vibe, let's first do a shout out to today's light walker in action. This is a woman I actually had the pleasure of meeting at the Conscious Life Expo last week. And she is an expert about vaccinations. So I thought I had to bring her right away to you. Her name is Brandy Vaughn. She's an Aries. We had a great conversation. And when I say expert, I mean she once worked for the pharmaceuticals and has come back to tell us. She's also basically an activist, and is personally, her nonprofit organization is spearheading 6 billboards in San Francisco and Los Angeles that tell people that they should question vaccinations. So it's fascinating. Many of you who have talked about this, many of you have written about this. I'm frankly tired of the rhetoric and want to get to the truth. So watch today's video with Brandy Vaughn, and let us all just applaud the work of someone like her. She just decided to do this, and that's why I am putting her on my show. Her website is learntherisk.org, learntherisk.org. So moving on to today's vibe. Today's vibe is sunny and aggressive, I think, today. That's because we have a lot of aggressive energy as the moon crosses over Mars, and we move forward with our final emotional boundaries. Something we've been working on for quite some time, basically. So today is, although we're manifesting, be advised that you might feel a little aggressive, and that's part of the manifestation, that there's male energy in this manifestation. Now, my heart is manifesting a baseline of faith today. My heart is loving and my heart is trusting. My heart also needs to protect. That's the step 0. And that means look out for your feelings and don't put yourself into any emotional situations that you don't enjoy or feel safe about. I feel strong about my boundaries and ready to act. The moon is in Scorpio and crosses Mars during the course of today. And that means that we are ready to move forward, maybe entirely impatient, maybe maybe a chance of Randy as well. It's Mars in Scorpio, okay? But I'm feeling that today, and I'm feeling that that cross of male energy. I'm open to receiving peaceful vibrations and peaceful frequencies because Venus is at step 15. And I'm thinking about quantum breakthrough today, thinking about new achievements, thinking about going places I've never gone before. Mercury is at step 22, which adds to a 4. Now, my ego, I am enforcing all final boundaries. This is what we're feeling today, the enforcement of the final boundaries, where the line must be, where we must hold the line with ourselves, and where we're willing to open up, where we're willing to let down our walls, where we're willing to surrender to what we know is safe, but we just haven't, exercised that boundary. So I am enforcing my final boundaries and moving forward. And what I'm learning still is what I want to manifest in my reality. I am still learning about what I want to manifest in my reality. I'm still uncertain entirely about it, but what I manifest is what's most important, truly, right now, okay? So your joy quest, should you choose to accept it, is to love, trust, and maintain your course today. This is not a day to change direction. This is not a day to stop unless you're on the wrong path and you know it. This is a day to love, to trust, and to maintain course. And basically, the quote I say is, steady as she goes, Captain, chug, chug, chug. That's what we're doing today. So we're in Pisces. We're on the water. I'll just move that back. Sorry about that curtain. We're on the water with Pisces, and so in essence, we have to just think of it as keep swimming, keep moving, keep chugging along. All right. All right. So that concludes our little open here. I think it's going to be a sunny and aggressive day. Let's now transition to today's topic. Today's topic is soul manifestation, destiny versus fate. And this comes from doing many readings. A lot of people talk about, being fated for something or being destined for something. And actually, I think they're a little different. I have my own definitions of them that I want to share with you today. But before I do, let's first pose the 5 o'clock question, shall we? And if you're wondering why I call it the 5 o'clock question, it's because you have until 5 o'clock to answer this in your heart. The first question is, what do you believe you are destined for? What do you believe you are destined for? And the follow-up, name something in your life that you considered to be fate. Name something in your life that you considered to be fate. Okay, and I will, of course, answer these. What do I believe I am destined for? Well, the first word is greatness. It's true. But I also think, when it comes to destiny, greatness has to do with my terms, first of all. So I'll just put that out there, seriously. But what I consider to be showing off and great. But no, what I feel I'm destined for is I feel destiny, I think, and I'm going to talk the definition, but I feel I am destined to be a leader in the transition. Yes, I'm destined to be a leader. I definitely know I was destined to be a leader during the Earth's transition and be on part of the team. That I know I am destined for. Something I consider to be fate would be actually meeting lots of people on Earth. I believe meeting lots of purple people, particularly purple people, is fate, really, in most cases. Now let me describe what the difference is, in my opinion, between destiny and fate. The truth is that the soul, decides to incarnate on Earth, where life is much slower. And in the incarnation, the soul actually completely creates your entire lifetime, beginning, middle, and end, before you even go down. Because that's how reality pretty much is. Now, every detail isn't lived out, but I think it is all created, and then we go down that path and have the opportunity to change it on the fly, and we do. We change most of it, all right? So I think there are some things based on trajectories of where people were headed, that there is fate, and fate is that lives would cross. That's because the lines are headed that way from the beginning, and it's fated that these lines would cross. So I believe that introductions to certain people are fated. Now, I always tell my friends that, people say, or I tell my clients, they say, oh my God, it was fated for us to meet. You're absolutely right. It was fated for you to meet, and that's all was fated. The only thing fated was for you to meet. Anything you do with that introduction, any memories from the past life, powers from the past life, personality aspects from the past life that awaken, all that stuff, that's all, kind of like being in a video game. You just got a power pack of new information that you get to add to your backpack. You know what I mean? So it's more information that gets added to the ride, but there's nothing fated after that introduction, in my opinion. Now, destiny is, I think, different. I think destiny is that you are an integral part of something, that you agreed to God that you would do it, you agreed to the angels that you would do it, therefore it's your destiny to do this, right? And a destiny is a longer path. It's not one introduction or another. It is that you will hold a frequency on Earth for Earth, and that's your destiny. And I believe that you agreed to do that. Now, people sabotage their destiny and don't show up, and consciousness has to change as a result. Other destinies fill that person's destiny, things like that. If you were to commit suicide or be unexpectedly killed, in most cases, many of the deaths that I read are planned. In other words, fated deaths. That's the thing. There's a lot of fated death. A lot of people, a lot of my clients who lose partners or lose parents, when I go in there psychically and I get in the reading, it's like, oh, this is the plan. Basically, the parent said, or the partner said, I'll incarnate down there and get you set up, but I really don't want to be there, so I'm taking off at age 45 or 62 or whatever. And so before people go down, they're like, all right, just give me on my feet, help me out, blah, blah, blah. It's like, and I think we get amnesia and we forget that we made these deals. And I think people don't always want to be down here. So, what do you believe you're destined for? What is your role? What is your frequency that you're holding on Earth? I think that is a big question that gets answered in the Pisces spectrum. And as we move into chapter 2 this week of our Pisces consciousness, we move away from cutting the lower baggage and the emotional stuff and the fears, and we move into navigating into the stuff that we want to be, the spiritual energy we want to be in, the spiritual approach we want to be in, and our destiny, what our soul wants. So I'll just end this in explaining one more interesting thing, which has to do with spirituality, and that has to do with the soul's role in manifestation. Sometimes when I do a reading for someone who dies, or someone who is asking about someone who's passed away, sometimes the person died because the soul aborted the lifetime. The soul aborted the lifetime. And basically, the way we work is we live in 3 dimensions at once. We live in the mind, the body, and the soul, right? Or Father, Son, Holy Spirit, or step 0, step 1, step 2, all right? And what happens is spirit is where everything begins, but you can get down into emotion, and you can get down into your heart and into your ego on earth, and you could totally take over the ride, and it could be totally what spirit did not want or sign up for. You can end up taking off your fated course because your ego is taking over. You can end up goofing up your destiny. And so as a result, it happens where the soul, the higher self, will be like, this ain't working, abort. And you manifest a tragedy. The person dies in a car accident, something happens. And and that is an interesting perspective, but it does happen when the soul gets too far off course. Not trying to put out fear, just the opposite. Trying to put love and information where you might be afraid. All right, let's take a look at today's planets and the Zen Den. And welcome to the Zen Den. So let's take 3 breaths together. And in these 3 breaths, I want to remind you that I'm putting up a firewall of love between you and I and allowing us to work in co-creation energy. And may my love multiply all of your manifestations today. So if we're good, let my love multiply all of your manifestations. And let's take those 3 breaths and connect now. Okay, and I got some good information from the other side, but first, an affirmation to get you through the day. I love and trust today my soul's foundation. I love and trust today my soul's foundation. And so it is, because I said so. I thought so. And you want to love and trust your foundation today. Hopefully you worked out that foundation. Hopefully you chased away the boogeyman. Over the weekend, I released a solar eclipse special about a solar eclipse we're going to have, a total solar eclipse, on March 8th. So I recommend you take a look at it because we're building to an even greater spiritual manifestation here in a couple weeks that's going to be well supported by Spirit. So you need to know where this foundation will lead, and you need to know why this foundation today is so important. Okay. So let's take a look at our overhead projector and see what the planets are telling us. Now, first of all, we're at step 10, Pisces. Step 10 is I love and I trust. And actually, it's I love and I protect. The trust comes after you have protected it. So first you have to love and protect, and that's what we're doing. We're loving and protecting what we sense. What we sense is true, what our spirit tells us, what our higher self is sponsoring this lifetime for anyways. That's really what's happening there. Now the aggression, as I described, is the moon crossing over Mars. Look at how the moon crosses Mars exactly at 11:21. I told you, it's always fun at 11:21. You guys check it out, no matter where you live, okay? At least in my reality. So the moon crosses over Mars. Mars is at I feel and sense. What you feel and sense about your life. This is the Grandmaster Mars step, by the way. This is actually what you feel and what you sense is kind of, step 27 is what you get into in a boxing ring. You're just feel and sense. Or if you're on stage, or right now when I'm performing for you, it's what I feel and what I sense. Master action is step 27. It's a master stroke. So if you are in alignment with what you feel, in alignment with what you sense, and you're acting on that, and you're putting your ego behind that, that is the most appropriate point of ego there is. But today we're feeling it and we're sensing it, and when you do, you should act on it. You should definitely act on it if you're feeling it and sensing it, as long as you're feeling it and sensing it. Now, Mercury is at quantum step 22. Step 22 adds to a 4. 22 Aquarius. Aquarius is the ruler of 4. So our mind is masterminding where we belong on a very high level, and we're holding that space on a very high level, and this is something that we want on a very high level, and it's important. But that also, we still have this yod that comes back and forth. We definitely have all this energy coming down into Jupiter. Uranus is at the Grand Master step of 9. 1 plus 8 is 9, and that's what Mars is 9. So we got a lot of powerful 9s going on here, and we're creating character. But really, what Spirit told me when I closed my eyes was the planet Jupiter. Again. And I was like, again? Didn't we just talk about Jupiter last week? I know there was a yod pointing there and whatnot. And it's funny, Spirit said to me, yeah, but you didn't say what we wanted you to say. And I was like, oh, really? What did you want me to say? And Spirit said, you didn't talk about the believing part of Jupiter. And I was like, oh, you're right, I didn't, And I had all that in 3 breaths, by the way. All of that. It goes super fast if you want to know how fast conversation goes. So I was like, okay, that's what I'm going to talk about. And that's what we're going to talk about now. Jupiter. Jupiter's at step 19. That is what? I manifest, right? So that adds to a 10. That means we're manifesting what? 19 Virgo. It's retrograde, so we're going back and remanifesting something we already manifested, or we're doing something different that we once did. But the believing part, that's what Spirit wanted me to tell you. In fact, let's look at step, believing is Sagittarius, step 3, okay? Saturn is saying, hey, everyone has to believe at least up to step 15 in their beliefs now. We've been creating new beliefs since Saturn went into Sag. But the belief maker himself is Jupiter. Jupiter is what we believe, okay? Now, Jupiter is in reality, which is kind of weird. That's kind of like having... with Jupiter being in Virgo, it means that we're kind of instant. As soon as we believe, it becomes a reality, like instantly. Usually, we believe at step 3, and we have all the way to step 11 before we go to Virgo. But because Jupiter's in Virgo, these 2 steps are fused. So it's kind of like you believe, boom, it becomes reality. You believe, boom, it becomes reality. You don't believe, oh, reality collapses. You don't believe, oh, reality collapses. And Jupiter's retrograde, which means it's a path we've been before, but we're still it's Jupiter. You're constructing reality. So Spirit wanted me to tell you that if your heart agrees, then you should believe. If your heart agrees, then believe. Because you will see reality prove it to you. But you have to have that love and trust, step 10, that little moment of holding space. Okay. For those who watched over my personal Sensei service, today your eye candy at 3 p.m. your local time is going to talk about where you are a natural born manifester. In your natal information that I get from my AIT, I can determine all sorts of things, and I can tell where in life you manifest easiest. So I'm going to talk about where you manifest easiest. And the reason why you should know where you manifest easiest is because on a day like today, you should be manifesting there and somewhere else. So I want you to know where you're always manifesting, where you're always pulling off. And if you're having trouble manifesting, well, then you should lean on this part of yourself to manifest the stuff. You should know where you are naturally strong. That comes at 3 o'clock. The other is I would like to encourage anyone who hasn't signed up for my personal Sensei service to please give it a try. And Spirit wanted me to say this to everyone too. When I was a kid and we went to church, Grandma and Grandpa used to put $20 in the basket every week, $20, which was a lot for Grandma and Grandpa because they were World War II, weird, conscious about everything, saved milk jugs, just everything was all depression. But they would give $20 every week, which is, $80 a month. And I was just going to say, I will support you beyond Sundays. I'll support you 7 days a week for only $5 a week. So think about it, because I'm trying to grow, I'm trying to hire, and I'm trying to do more. As you can see, I'm interviewing new people. As you can see, I'm bringing more to the table. Support me, I will support you. It's the least you can do. Thank you. All right, my friends. And don't forget to check out my website, soulgarden.tv, where we now have birthday calls. Wonka wonka. All right, well, I love you, and I'll see you in 24 hours with more. Until then, live, love, be.